You win or you lose. Ain't your cup of tea. Well, maybe his brew ya, maybe his suit ya. Ties they gon' coop ya, undo ya, show prove ya. Here's to the future. They say, live for today. Tomorrow, not promise, no, 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 no. You cross the road when you come to it. You hit a wall or you go through it. Where will you be when the future come around? When the future come around.
That's Future Come Around by Don T. You are tuned in to the lounge on WURD Radio 96.1 FM 900 AM. And I should say Don T and Chill Moody, aka and more, right? It's Artist Tuesday in the lounge, and I'm like now beyond excited because I actually have Don T sitting next to me. Welcome to the lounge.
Oh, thank you for having me.
This is your first time, I think, here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. So
absolutely.
welcome.
I'm really happy to be in your little corner of the world here.
Yeah, you know, we just being here, just doing our little thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so loves, if you may not be familiar, right? Don T is one half of And More, the other half of whom is none other than Chill Moody. So, yeah, shout out to Chill. Yeah, that's my guy.
Chill.
Yeah, doing great things. I think he just got like a Mountain Dew situation secured. Like Jill out here with his own beer. He's doing nice
big
things. He's doing nice things.
Big
for
and nice
sure.
things. Absolutely.
But Don T, I gave a little bit of just more what you do. Why don't you let folks know who you are?
Sure.
And in your own words, what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. So I am Don T, singer-songwriter, author, poet, writer, just I do it all. Coach, motivational speaker, one half of And More, a band that Chill and I launched about a year ago. I got my start in music as a kid. I'm from music royalty in Philadelphia. My dad was the late legendary Lee Andrews, and so if anybody's familiar with doo-wop music, or have parents and grandparents that listen to that stuff, that my dad was big. He has his star on Broad Street, on the Walk of Fame there. My brother is Amir Questlove Thompson of the Roots. Mm-hmm. The T is for Thompson, Don T. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, I grew up in music. Music was always around the house. My parents rehearsing and doing all things musical, and me thinking that was just what everybody's family did. It was a rude awakening when I realized that, everybody didn't have, the cops called on them because they were sitting around the house singing and making music until 3 and 4 in the morning. But, that was my growing up. My first published work was at 9 years old. It's when I knew that, I had some things to say. And, I wrote a song at that point, and it was published. My parents performed the song later on. So that was my start.
What was the
since
song?
Then,
I'm curious.
It was called Montgomery Bay. I was thinking about a lot of things as a kid. I was just a pretty deep thinker. So it was, the subject was a homeless man, and the point of the song was, like the chorus went something like, now I have to get the words right because, that was 9. Down on Montgomery Bay lived a man who was very nasty. He never now I'm 9 now, okay, so don't judge too hard. He never looked around or said anything to me, but every day around 3 you would see him going out for his bottle. I think it went something like that. And all the children used to laugh when they saw him. stumble, but the chorus was the most poignant. It was like the old man said, nothing proud and nothing shame, nothing ventured, nothing gained, and there can't be no life without pain. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you was a thinker.
I was a thinker. I was a thinker, right? Had a lot of thoughts.
Yeah, no.
Exactly. So, yeah, I mean, I was just always aware that, things were going on in the world. And I think at a very young age, I wanted to be a part of transforming things. I knew that. Both my parents were activists. They were just out there kind of part of whatever needed to be changed. They were, on the front lines of that. And activists at a time where it wasn't popular. Today it's, we know that we need to get out there and voice and all of that. But they were just, they were that example to me. So that was happening. And, as I grew up and kind of got it out there, I started writing music for TV and film. Being a performer myself, I'm a solo artist, but I had the opportunity to write for Ava DuVernay for a BET film that she directed, and it was called I Will Follow. My single Waiting is in that, and then I have another single in a Lifetime TV film that Jill Scott and Regina Hall and a few people are in, and and that's called With This Ring. And Zinga Stewart, another African-American director, did that one. So, yeah, but I've been doing a lot behind the scenes as well as doing stuff as a solo artist.
Yeah, I was about to say, you've been working.
Yeah.
Sum all that up.
And yes, summing all of it up, I'm a contributing author to a song in Barnes & Noble right now. I was asked to be a part of a project with 4 other New York Times bestsellers, and that was really cool. It's called Behind the Song, and it's on Source Books. It's like a YA anthology, and so I'm a new author, and that's kind of open doors to some other things, and there's and more. So and more, right.
So, when you think back to that 9-year-old self, and then look at where you're at right now, do you feel like you're living the life that you saw for yourself back then?
Yeah, I'm completely on track. I just, it's funny because people, who knew me then, my family and friends, and know me now, it all makes sense. The journey, I say the transition, but just the trajectory was set back then. And, it's just, I feel the same things that I thought about then and what I wanted to change about the world, and just being really connected to, I don't know, this might sound odd, but I just, very young, I was connected to purpose, and I knew I was awake, I was woke. I'm not sure how I got that way, but I just was, and I wanted to just affect people and affect the world, and use art to do that. So, whether that was through music, whether that was through writing, my presence, whatever.
Yeah. No, I mean, clearly the family is
right,
full of talent, and I mean, just superb talent. So, you mentioned Questlove, right?
Yeah.
Who's the oldest?
Me.
Okay, so you pull the big sister card on them sometimes. Do you still pull that card?
I try. I try to do it. I don't think I could. You know what? We have an interesting dynamic. I don't think I ever was able to pull that card, only because, we had a dad, and our dad was so old school. Like, he was just about the, opening doors, there's a woman in the room, you have to. So that was kind of just instilled. So at a certain point, when we become peers, it was, I try to pull it out. He'd be like, nah, I got this.
I got this.
I try to take him to dinner. He's like, no, I'm the man. It's that type of deal. So, yeah.
It's okay, brother, well, go ahead, take that check.
Yeah. We hung out this last weekend, Yeah, we went to see, Ain't Too Proud to Beg
Oh,
as a
how
family. Yeah, that's a kind of our family thing. We go to Broadway theater, like on, that's one of the things that we do. It was incredible. Really incredible, so powerful. And it really touched a core in me because it was, about music of a particular time. And, some of those folks were my dad's peers. So it was just like, wow, this is really cool. And the actors, everybody in the show, it's just see that play if you can.
Yeah.
It's tremendous.
I just actually had, like, my bae, sent it to me in a text.
Oh, yeah.
Telling me about it, and I was like, "Oh, this looks good." So then you bring it up. So okay, this is a sign. I got to make sure I go see it.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. So let me see. Let me check my time. It's 9:14. So listen, loves, if you're just tuning in right now, I'm chatting with Dawn T. She is one half of onWURD, the other half of whom is none other than Chill Moody. As you may have been hearing, she also does far more than that. She's a solo artist. She's a writer. She's a published author. I mean, the list goes on at this point.
Yeah.
But just know she's out here getting it done. She's out here getting it done.
Right.
But yeah, so let's kind of shift gears a bit in terms of artistry. The fact that, you kind of entered this stage at 9 years old as a songwriter, a published songwriter.
Sure.
And then over time, your artistry just evolved in so many different ways. What were those moments of transition like for you when it came to your artistry? Was it like, okay, this is what my identity has been, and so, like, did you experience any friction or resistance within self, going from one type of artistry to another?
It's interesting because I was thinking about this the other day and how intentional, like, the creativity has always been intentional, but I haven't had moments in time where I'm like, okay, I need to shift in this direction for this purpose. It's been that something has landed in front of me that catches my attention, and in that moment, I'm like, yeah, maybe I pay attention to this, and this is going to take me on a new track. I think it's like the way that I've allowed life to unfold like that. And so it's been an adventure for that reason. It's highly unusual, I think, when you don't, at the point that I met Ava DuVernay and was working with, I've done so much behind the scenes, but that was, it wasn't as though I was chasing her or was chasing this idea of getting my music placed in TV and film. It was happening for me, and many people around me thought, like, oh, that's unusual. And it wasn't because, doors were being opened for me. People were finding my music online. It was just very organic. But I allowed that moment in time to, the first time my music was placed, to say, like, oh, okay, maybe this is something I should be awake for. I mean, I should be, like,
doing
conscious.
With,
I should be conscious that this is something that, can happen. This is something that happens. So, so that's been that. But it's been a curious thing for me because every transition has happened because and I don't want to say I've been passive, but I've allowed life and been awake for the moment that something different is occurring. And it's just opened up a new path. So, and I would say that with every major transition that I've experienced. Yeah.
This sounds like just an openness to opportunity and where the direction that life is taking you, the flow.
I'm an adventurous person, so.
Are you?
Yeah, very much, actually. So, my first album, my debut album, It was an album called Kaleidoscopic. The day before, and that was, gosh, I should remember years, but I think it was either 2010 or 2012. And the day before I made the album, I was not planning to make the album. And I was introduced to a French DJ from London by DJ Junior at Drexel. And he said, "Hey, I want you to come down, meet this DJ." And this, this person, his name is Sinbad, not the comedian, but he was partners to Giles Peterson in The Tastemaker in London. And I thought, I'll come down and meet him. We met at my studio in Philly, and we connected, vibed so hard that we decided to meet the next day. And 7 days later, we had my debut album.
Wow.
And I had not, not that I was discounting doing something like that. Of course, I'm musical, I'm a musician, and so I'm always looking to, collaborations. But it wasn't that it was an intentional thing that I was going to have a body of work that would, and that body of work took me to London for a few years and overseas, where this album, it did really, really well. The thing about it was I didn't have, distribution in the U.S. So it was shortly, a little bit after that came out, I thought, I want to come back to the U.S. and explore, doing some things here. And it was at that point that I connected with the Orchard, my distributor, and launched my label, D-Tone Victorious. And that's something that I did mention, that I'm a label owner.
And
So
that
it's a
too, I was
lot.
going to say, wait,
Right.
there's a label. There's a label.
Okay.
So we got to get ready to go to a break. But before I do, I got to make sure I list out my questions. I want to know what your greatest adventure, one of your most fun adventures that you've been on thus far.
Oh, wow.
What that
Okay.
is.
Okay.
And then your label, the name, what that means, what that signifies, how that came about.
Okay.
And what you've learned as a label owner. Like, I feel like that's more business than anything.
Okay,
But I don't know.
sure.
I could be wrong.
Sure,
All right.
sure.
So, loves, stay tuned. We're going to go ahead and take this break. You are in the lounge. I'm your host, Sincerely Sarita, joined by the one and only Don T. We're going to go ahead, do this, pay these bills. When we come back on the other side, we'll pick this conversation up. So, stay tuned. 96.1 FM, 900 AM.
The Source.
The Source.
Weekdays 10 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Special guest host Renee Chanel Patin every Monday in April.
The Source. Exclusively on WURD Radio and WURDRadio.com.
Pennsylvania is in the midst of the worst ever overdose death epidemic and the worst public health crisis in the last 100 years. The Pennsylvania Department of Drug and Alcohol Programs is leading the efforts to prevent and reduce drug, alcohol, and gambling addiction and abuse, and has undertaken initiatives to reduce the human and economic impact of the epidemic with the prevention and treatment of substance use. If you or a loved one is struggling with addiction, get help now. Call 1-800-662-HELP. That's 1-800-662-HELP. Call today.
Listen live at wordradio.com. You know we don't play when it comes to our mothers, and if we could give them the world, we definitely would. This Mother's Day, celebrate your mother in a way she'll never forget. Start or renew your 4WURD membership between now and May 6th and be entered to win our exclusive 4WURD Mother's Day prize package, which includes a pair of tickets to the Mother's Day Music Fest in Atlantic City, Saturday, May 11th, featuring Maze with Frankie Beverly, Christopher Williams, Kem, and Al B. Shore, a gift certificate to Hand and Stone Massage and Facial Spa, dinner for two at Green Soul Restaurant in downtown Philadelphia, and an overnight stay at the Cambria Hotel Philadelphia downtown. Don't miss this opportunity to create some special memories with Mom. To be entered to win, start or renew your 4WURD membership between now and May 6th by calling 215-425-7875 or visit wordradio.com. WURD TV. We're streaming live video of this conversation right now.
Tune in on YouTube at onWURD.
Or on Facebook at 4WURD.
WURD TV.
Black Talk Media.
The Lounge with Sincerely Sarita. Sincerely Sarita. Right now on WURD Radio.
This is a story
funny that you come my way. Was thinking about you just the other day, running around the way, thinking how we used to run away, thought to run away. I know it's crazy as it sounded. You showed me how to soar when they told me stay grounded, but I was born to fly. Sorry when I left home again. You thought that I was roaming when I was just homing in. Told me not to phone it in. That was a great call. Views from the sky, so I take off.
That's Clear by Ann Moore. And of course, Ann Moore's Don T and Chill Moody. You are tuned in to the lounge on WURD Radio, 96.1 FM, 900 AM. I am joined in studio on this Artist Tuesday with none other than Don T herself. And if you would like to see all that we have going on here in the lounge, because, you know, soaking all this melanin and all this beautiful, you know, we got all this natural hair popping in here, then go ahead and head over to to the lounge or Word Radio's Facebook page. Of course, the WURD's Facebook page is at FOR, Word, WURD. The lounge, you can just search the lounge or look up at the lounge Word, and you can see us and join the convo there. But let's jump back in. I had laid out some of the questions ahead of time prior to break, so Don T had an idea of where we were going with it.
Right.
But you said, you know, you are adventurous.
I am.
And so I wanted to know, like, what's one of your most memorable or best adventures that you've experienced?
So it's not musical, actually. It is, I had the honor of taking a trip to Peru and South America, and got to see Lima and Cusco, and specifically hike Machu Picchu and see the ruins there, and just all of the landscape, and it's a very tough hike. You know, I'm athletic. I'm not considering myself like, oh yeah, you know, I could do, you know, marathons or anything like that, or triathlons or anything. But it was humbling. It was definitely humbling, and you definitely feel, I would just say, close to God in those moments, because it's so, you know, the reality of just how small you are in the world, kind of juxtaposed to, you know, this huge landscape and everything. And I guess what I learned from that trip is when, you know, the doctor says, you know, you should take something for altitude sickness, that altitude sickness is a real thing.
It's a real thing.
People. Yeah. I was like, I never heard of that, so that must not be anything. I'm good. No.
It's very real.
Right. Yeah, take your tab. Take your altitude sickness tab.
Got you.
Yeah, but that was an adventure. It was life-changing. It really was. It was beautiful and and simple at the same time. So, yeah.
That sounds beautiful. So you also mentioned your label.
Exactly, D-Tone Victorious.
D-Tone Victorious, which we learned that there's another title that comes with there. She's a label owner.
Right.
So the name of the label, where did that come from? D-Tone Victorious.
Well, D-Tone is D is for Don, and T represents the Don T. So D-Tone. Victorious, I'm just a person that's all about name energy. You know, names have power, and you know, they project something. So, you know, it was a word that I chose to always remind myself to, you know, be positive and know that I was an overcomer in this industry. And, you know, if I ever had a second thought about that, you know, I was victorious because I called that forward. So it's just it's just something that I'm about.
Yeah.
I believe, we have to name ourselves.
Yeah, this is, I mean, it's definitely one of the toughest industries, the most cutthroat industries to be a part of. And so how have you managed to maintain longevity amidst sharks at times?
Right. Right.
Like,
Yeah, I mean, I've just diversified. I think we're in an industry now that we're seeing a lot of artists do that, but I think I always did that. Like I just, day one, I did it, and some people say, like, if they're a singer or, they're a visual artist, whatever it is, and they have the ability to do a lot of things well, they get intimidated by exploring all of that and exploring it all at the same time, because it sometimes when we're talented in that way, we second guess ourselves and say, well, I don't want to be, a jack of all trades, master of none, and so let me. But
that's so true.
I just didn't believe that about. I thought, well, if I'm blessed with these abilities, then why can't I not just do them simultaneously? Why can't? Somebody said you can't, but I think you can, and so that's just been my approach.
Yeah.
Just ever since I've been a professional, to have a few things going on, to, when the label specifically was launched, it came at a time where I thought, I really want to take things into my own hands, but I want to, be wise about it. And, anybody can launch a label. You really can launch a label. If you're thinking at home, I want to launch my own label, you can do that.
Because I'm like, how do you even do that?
Well, here's the thing. I mean, label's an LLC, and, it takes a lot of work, and you have to research, and, you get your music business books out, and it walks you through certain steps. But to me, what I found, the key to success as an indie label is having distribution. That's something that I didn't know when with my debut album. I thought, well, I'm just so excited that I have an album out. It was on a small label. It was not my label, and I was just excited. But what I didn't know was, wow, I have distribution in overseas, but nothing here, and that, it was a learning lesson to me. So when I launched my label, I sought, a distributor, and it was an interesting, process, because I guess typically, one woman in a room is not getting signed to a major distributor. I walked into, it was at the time it was Red Distribution, and pitched them my idea and my story, and the president at the distributor at that time said, I may be against better wisdom, but just based on kind of your energy and your story, I think we should take this chance. Since that time, Red has merged with the Orchard, and my distribution is through the Orchard, which is, for folks that don't know, it's Sony's the kind of the hub of Orchard and Red Music. So, yeah. So, but I like many people do, I just needed to take the bull by the horns and just figure out how this worked. And it was trial and error, and I'm still learning. I've got a lot of things down. I have major distribution, but it's trial and error.
Yeah. So what do you look for when it comes to artists? Because
and I'm actually what I vowed to do was I was going to take a few years and have a few projects come out on my own label, because what I wanted to do, I didn't necessarily want to rush forward with someone else's career before I really knew how the car worked. I wanted to know all the downsides, like, you know, what does this look like? How do you launch a record? You know, and I, you know, come to terms with understanding that, yeah, you can put it out, you can have major distribution, but you have to have PR.
Marketing
It's key.
and all.
People need to know people need to know you're here. So that's, you know, that's a financial aspect. So there's things that you need to have in order in that way. So it's just not, you know, putting things out and seeing what they can do. And of course, that doing that is fulfilling. You know, if you haven't done it before, it's like, wow, I have, you know, music out there, but you want it to have impact. So there's it has to partner with quite a few other things in order for that to happen.
Gotcha. No, and that makes sense. Like, let me test this out first on myself.
Right.
Before I put somebody in the passenger and tell them ride with me.
Exactly. So, you know, but in answer to that question, because that's something that I'm looking at this year, I'm looking for artists who have a similar philosophy, who have an understanding of not just the artistry, not just talented people, but, you know, people that have an idea of kind of what it takes and that are go-getters and that, you know, are not just looking for someone to come along and go, hey, you know, make me a star, just, you know, put my music out there. I want somebody proactive, you know, because up until today, I've self-managed, I've, you know, kind of just done everything on my own, up until, again, the partnership with onWURD, because some of that is changing rapidly.
Speaking of, how has it changed now that you're a part of onWURD?
Yeah, it's
now
accelerated.
that you all are a part of each other's.
Right. You know, what's interesting is that Chill and I have very similar approach professionally, and I think it's something about the partnership that has energized everything. And so, you know, we've only had onWURD for a year, essentially, a little over a year. Since that time, we've, you know, gotten to open for Michelle Obama. We got a pretty prestigious touring agent, Crossover Touring, who we're working with now. Some real heavy hitters are a part of her agency. We have really solid PR moving forward. Some really important things have happened. We did our own NPR's Tiny Desk concert. Yeah, we did that.
I wanted to know how that went. Like, what was that experience like?
It was, you know, it was wonderful, exciting, and so regular. And when I say that, I mean, I don't know what I expected. I thought it was a little glamorous or something, but you literally walk into an office building and people are working, and you're thinking, okay, well, where's the stage? But you walk behind Bob Boland's desk, and he gets up from his desk because he's working, and they put two mics there, and you start doing your thing.
Wow.
So that's it.
That's
it. It's not lighting. Like the lighting, if it looks bright, it's sunlight was happening that day. You know, it's not. Yeah. So.
And there are other people in the room working as you all are performing?
Some people have deadlines, so they're doing their work, and they're not ignoring you. They're into it. They're like, look, an hour from now, my job, you know, I gotta get my job done. So, but then, you know, there's also like 75 people, 100 people just standing in front of you that just, you know, like in this space that come in and, you know, are applauding and exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
But it was so regular that it was disconcerting. I'm like, wait, absolutely. I'm like, wait, what is this? Okay.
Got you. So kind of take us back a little bit to how you and Chill connected.
Okay, yeah. We connected the first time in 2016 at a party. I remember walking towards him, didn't register, like, you know, I was just walking. He stopped me. He said, hey, I admire your work. And, we shared that. I said, yeah, me too. And, we had a brief chat. I don't even think it was it 30 seconds? And, he said, yeah, we should do some stuff together. I said, yeah, absolutely. People do that all the time, but we meant it, So it was shortly after that I finished the writing project behind the song, and my editor asked if I had a companion piece, a piece of music, and strangely enough, I had just come off of taking about 8 months off because my dad had passed, and just processing that, and it wasn't active that I was saying I'm taking time away from music, but it was just like I was getting myself back in balance. But there was this one song that I had worked on with Ray Angry of the Roots and Daru Jones, drummer, and it was called Clear, and I thought, wow, I worked on this song to kind of process those feelings. This would be the only thing that I could, have as a companion piece. I asked Chill if he wanted to be a part of it. And so it came to the studio, he did his part. I thought, let's do one more. And there was a track that he had. It was actually a track that he'd been using for a web series called Regression that had no words to it or anything. It's right now the song Gravity on the Ethel Bobcat album. But yeah, he said, hey, he gave me the track, and it was, from that point, it was, I just have to say, magical, because creatively we have the ability to complete each other's sentences. So, meaning we may not be in the same room together, but I'll start a concept and leave out major points. So I'm not leaving out spaces for him to fill in. Sometimes I'm leaving out complete thoughts. I'll say a few words and give, leave space, and he would complete the phrase better than I would. It was like he'd take what I would want to say and take it higher, and then I would do the same thing. So we found that kind of intriguing.
Yeah.
Neither of us had thought of being a band with anybody before. We're solo artists. That's kind of what our thing is. We're kind of known for that. But this just worked. And so it was around the time that we did Gravity, which was the second song, that we pitched the idea to each other of like, hey, I remember, you mentioned Ben, private school, who was in here doing an interview a little while back. I said, hey, Chill, I want to ask you a question. Ben happened to be in the room. He said, don't ask me. He called Ben over. He said, yeah, what did I tell you earlier? And I didn't know what was going on, because I'm thinking, I'm just about to ask you, like, you think we should consider being a band? And Ben said, oh, yeah, you guys are a band. And I said, what? Like,
just
oh,
like
you were
that.
thinking that? Yeah.
Just
and
like
the
that.
rest was history.
Well,
So.
I'll tell you what, let's take this break. We went a little over, but we Frosty be okay. He won't kill us. We're going to take this break. When we come back on the other side, we're going to bring folks up to date now with where you all are at, because a tour is like happening now.
It's happening now.
So we want to let them
Absolutely.
know about that tour, where they can find you at, and
Okay.
what's up next for 2019 for you all.
Sure.
All right, so you're tuned into The Lounge on WURD Radio, 96.1 FM, 900 AM. It's 9:44 p.m., and we'll be right back after these messages.
EcoWord. Wednesdays on Reality Check with Charles Ellison.
4 p.m. till 7 p.m.
Right here on Word Radio.
And WordRadio.com.
Independence is a precious thing, but now and then everyone needs a little help. Isn't it good to know that getting the help you need doesn't mean drastically changing your life? Always Best Care Philly and Delaware is there to give you just the amount of help you need, from a few hours a week to as many hours as you need, handling everything from light housekeeping to meals, and so much more. Don't struggle. Contact Always Best Care and see how easy it is to age in place. Call us at 302-409-3710 or visit alwaysbestcaredelaware.com.
Support independent black media and join the 4Word movement now at 215-425-7875 or visit wordradio.com.
I ain't no better than you, and you ain't no better than me. But we all have something in common. We all are in species, seeds of God's creation.
Tune in to Messages in the Music every Friday night with Joey T, midnight to 6 a.m. right here on WURD.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
You've messed up your daughter's haircut. Do you A, get spiritual?
Mom, where's the mirror?
Beauty is within. Oh.
B, find the positives?
Less time blow drying, more time texting?
Or C, show empathy?
Mom, you really don't have to.
Twinsies!
I kinda love it. You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on adoption, visit adoptuskids.org. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
The Lounge with Sincerely Sarita. Sincerely Sarita. Right now on Word Radio.
I've been thinking about the way you talk, the way you talk, the way you talk, the way you talk.
For sure candy sweet, but your words are better. I eat 'em up, eat 'em up. So down to the core, right down to the letter. Please give 'em up, give 'em up.
I got you. Call it a natural progression. I'm bound to touch a couple things before I die. Peep in time, watch me as I change right before your eyes. We're shooting for the stars, I done tore the skies. I tore the skies, well known like a torn disguise. They know it's me, now I gotta make 'em notice me. I stand out, projecting every handout you throwing me. Nah, I ain't into it. This head grind is more intricate and more respect the syndicate.
True what you said, speak it up all over. I drink it up, drink it up. Your fruit from the vine, they making me sober. Bottoms up, bottoms up.
Here's to you. For a diamond, gems drop like electives on depression. Due to the stigma, we suppressed it. It's impressive. Though we stuck in our ways, we found direction. Took whatever's left as a lesson. Brought a pen to a knife fight, but I ain't stressing. Weapon don't make the man make the weapon. Cause lately I've been flexing. Cut a few connections due to my reflecting. Just making room for my blessings. I got your message. Back to the wall, I feel the pressure. Classes in session, I'll feel the lecture. Feel the lecture. Chill the professor.
Let's Talk by Ann Moore. You're tuned in to The Lounge on WURD Radio 96.1 FM 900 AM. It's hashtag Artist Tuesday in the Lounge, and I am joined in studio with Don T, who is one half of Ann Moore. The other half, of course, is Chill Moody. And so you're on tour. Y'all are on tour right now. Like, it's happening in this right moment.
Yeah.
It kicked off March 30th.
I'm not really here. I'm actually.
Right.
Yeah.
It kicked off March 30th. Mm-hmm. It's going until what, like August?
Oh, yeah. We're well beyond August.
Okay.
We have about 60 dates.
Wow.
Presently. Yeah. There's a lot.
How's it going so far?
It's good. It's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah. We just got back from Toronto. We were let's see, East Coast, Vermont, and New Hampshire area, and we're actually headed right back there to Vermont, New Hampshire. We're headed to Knoxville, Tennessee, and Nashville, and
right back on the road.
Yeah, we're actually going to be everywhere. Ohio, we have a West Coast leg. We're headed out to Seattle.
Okay.
And yeah,
So
back
let
up to
folks
Canada.
know what the name of the tour is and where they can find
Sure.
tickets and all that stuff at.
Well, the band is, of course, And More, Chill Moody, and Don T. And you can find out where we're going to be on tour by going to our website, which is, the name of the band is ampersand, MORE. But what we are on social media is We Are And More. So We Are And More is the website. You say the way it sounds is the way you look for it. We Are And More, the website. On Twitter and IG, it's We Are And More. So, yeah, it's pretty straightforward. If you want to follow me, I would love that. On Twitter.
Y'all better follow.
I'm a little, I'm a woman, I'm a little complicated. So mine is on Twitter, DONN_T. Don_T, and on IG it's DToneVic, which is actually a part of the label.
The label, yeah.
DTONEVIC.
Okay.
On Instagram.
And then you all have the album out.
The name of the album, the debut album, is Ethel Bobcat, and it's available on all social platforms right now.
Yeah.
Online platforms. Yeah.
And I hear that Ethel Bobcat represents that woman in the community, in the neighborhood, who knew everybody's name.
Absolutely.
And who your mama was.
Kept you straight, gave you cookies, a glass of wine. She might pull out a switch. You didn't know, but she kept all of us in line, and it's a wink at her in that time, and kind of a call forward for all of us to step forward into our own power. And continue that for each other. We often look for somebody to step up, Barack Obama or whoever it might be, to step, be in that stead and kind of carry us forward. And we're realizing more and more that there's no one person coming to do that. We all have to be that voice and be that strength.
Yeah, because if everyone were to take a step up,
yes,
everything would shift.
Everything shifts.
And you're moving forward.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's move forward into this game.
Okay.
So we have a game, it's called Quick Shots, right?
All right.
And so you just give your thought or response in a one-word answer.
First thought.
All right, music.
This might be dangerous.
Music.
Nina.
Art.
Picasso.
Give back.
Give back?
Mm-hmm.
Time.
Legacy.
Music.
Father.
Lee.
All-time favorite music record. And it doesn't have to be one word, but one record.
Oh, man. Okay, so it was an album that it's so obscure. The woman was Phoebe Snow, and she had an album called Looks Like Snow. She's a jazz artist. It may have been one of 3 that she did, but it impacted me. Incredible lyricist and extremely obscure.
Okay.
But, my parents had stacks for days, so
okay,
I can pull that.
Favorite artist currently on your playlist?
Oh man, Victory Boyd.
Victory Boyd.
Yeah.
One artist who is underrated.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Oh my gosh. Bilal. Yeah.
All right, and then finish the sentence.
Who happens to be on
the tour?
He's actually on Ethel Bobcat. So Chuck D, legendary Chuck D, Bilal, and Jay Ivey, Grammy Award winning.
Nice.
Poet. So sorry, I'm interrupting the game.
No, you're good. All right, last two, or finish the sentence. Dear black man.
Rise.
Dear black woman.
Shine.
I'm shining. Shining. All right. Woo. Let me catch it. All right, so listen, we got to get ready to get out of here. But it has truly been an honor and a pleasure to chat with you tonight.
Thanks
to
for
get to know
having me,
you
Sarita.
more.
Absolutely.
Great vibes, laughs, all of that good stuff. We now know where to follow you at. Where
Johnny
to find you
Brendas.
at.
Did we mention that?
No, Johnny Brendas this Saturday, right?
Exactly. Yeah, and more. It's our debut release show. We want everybody to come out. Johnny Brenda's doors are at 8 p.m. Show starts at 9. Yeah.
Where can I get tickets?
Yeah, you can get them on our website,
Okay.
weareandmore.com.
weareandmore.com.
Yeah.
All right, there you all have it. You know, I got to get ready to get out of here. That is officially a wrap. A very special thank you to my guest. Shout out to DJ Geek coming through with the Geekin' Mix. Carmito for hashtag Mad Ethnic Musings. Lindo, yes. And then, of course, Don T of And More. Much love and respect to my guy, DJ Frosty Phoenix. You know, he'd be holding down the phone lines and the boards, playing my favorite song, As I Am. You know, if you haven't already, make sure you follow The Lounge across all platforms at The Lounge Word, and connect with me on IG or Facebook at Sincerely Sarita. On Twitter, I'm Sincerely Rita. That's Rita with 2 E's. Tomorrow is Women Crush Wednesday. So, you know, we got Steph Humphrey. She's going to be coming through with the weekly STEM report. We're going to be having Vanessa Severals. She is a woman who is bringing the worlds of tech and menstrual health together by creating smart pad products and services. So looking forward to that. And, you know, we got some more in store for you. But until then, I'm your host, Sincerely Sarita, encouraging you to taste your words before you feed them to someone else, and reminding you to always, always, always empathize, empower, and evolve. Peace.
So we should be chilling back